What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are starting a brand new show. This is The Saint's Magic Power is Omnipotent. Oh boy, so, very much into the swing of the spring season now. This is the only new show today, because, well, technically we did have a new show before this in Slime Diaries, but since that's a spin-off slice of life to a series we've already very well acquainted with, I don't really consider that a new show necessarily. It's just a slightly different alternate version. This is a completely brand new show to me, though, and something I've never heard of or seen, as with pretty much every spring show, and every show I ever do on the channel is something completely new to me. The only real exception is going to be Nagatoro this season, since I have actually seen source material for that one before. But, yeah, if you're new to the channel, hi, welcome. I'm a British guy who reacts to seasonal anime. This is my 6th season of doing so, here in spring. We did it all of 2020, although half of 2020 went missing due to channel deletion, because I was very naive back then. And what I like to do here when I start a brand new show on the channel is I like to load up the analyst page, take a look at the synopsis, the tags, the studios, things like that to get a basic feel for the show. I used to do this before I started the channel. I'm going to continue to do this, and since I have a very busy season of over 30 shows that I've got to start whittling down and figuring out, okay, how am I meant to make this all work in my schedule, I have to be somewhat harsh on certain shows to actually deliver, and if they don't deliver very early on, I might just drop them there and then, or I might at least give them another episode to prove themselves. A lot of Monday shows ended up in that category. So that's why I'm a bit harsher and having to find more information about them just to get a basic feel. I have not read any source material on it. I haven't even seen trailers for any of these shows. That I don't watch trailers to anime. I never have, and I don't think I ever want to necessarily. I don't see any benefit to that right now. I get it's meant to like hype you up and stuff, but I also like especially with certain shows that have a visual element to them that is like meant to be like, wow, look at the visuals. I like to leave that bit like completely blind reaction going in and seeing like, oh wow, this show is pretty all of a sudden. Like Vivi, Fluorite Eyes something. I forget the full name of the show, but Vivi this season on Sundays, that had that as well. Like, holy damn, that's beautiful in certain shots. And if I saw trailers of that, I'd be like, oh, I'm expecting it. So that's why I choose not to watch trailers. Anyway, let's get into the synopsis. Sei, a 20-year-old office worker, is whisked away to a whole new world. Unfortunately for Sei, the ritual that summoned her, meant to produce a saint who would banish the dark magic, brought 2 people over instead of 1. And everyone prefers the second girl over Sei. But this is just fine by Sei, who leaves the royal palace to set up a shop making potions and cosmetics with her newfound magic. I swear this is kind of like the norm now. Isekai story into setting up a shop. Not that I'm knocking that idea, because that makes perfect sense. I mean, why risk your life as an adventurer to make money when you can just open up an establishment that no one else has, corner apart the market, and have a very reliable income for years to come? It just makes sense to open up a shop and have that income, but whatever. Business is booming, and this might not be such a bad life after all, as long as her supposed sainthood doesn't come back to haunt her. Which it will, almost certainly. Now, I don't know by how much, but I guess we'll see. Immediately, I know Sei's VA, Yui Ishikawa, that is Violet Evergarden from the series Violet Evergarden. Also Enterprise from the Azure Lane games, I remember that. So I'm well acquainted with Yui Ishikawa as a voice actress. I don't recognize any of the others off the top of my head. No, I don't recognize any of them. This is by Studio Diomedia. I'm not quite sure how to say them. They're the studio behind Domestic Girlfriend, apparently. Yep, they are. That show didn't look terrible, actually, all things considered. They're also behind Beatless, again, not terrible looking. I've watched a few of their productions, Cancol and such, so I'm well acquainted with, some of their content. Why does that look like Hachiman? Anyway, so yeah, I'm familiar with their style. It's been a while since they've done a production, huh? Full 19, and then they had the entirety of 2020 off to make a production. Quite an extended break for them, actually. Anyway, they might have worked on something else with other people. But fantasy romance slice of life. Now, it says romance, and I see reverse harem, and I see villainess being mentioned. I wonder how much the romance is going to be a thing, or if it's just like kind of implied that some of the guys have a thing for her, and she might have a thing for some of the guys. I think it's just going to be more implied. It doesn't feel like an actual romance story so much. It's an isekai story. I don't know how much the romance is going to play into it. Having a recommendation of A Sentence of a Bookworm is dangerous. Because if you're going to start recommending me A Sentence of a Bookworm based on this, that sets really high expectations, because Ascendance of Bookworm is one of my favorite isekai stories out there right now. And knowing that there's more to come is brilliant. The world building in that show is second to none. The only thing in recent times that has necessarily competed with that was Jobless Reincarnation in terms of world building. In terms of isekai stories, I'm not talking about just regular fantasies or anything like that. I'm talking purely isekais. Jobless Reincarnation is the closest in terms of world building to Ascendance, and you could go back and forth on which ones are actually better in that regard. So I have very high praise for this. So if this can capture any of that, I will be happy. The Arte recommendation, even though it's been downvoted, I actually quite like this recommendation because I think Arte was an underrated series, and this feels like it could go an Arte kind of route, although Arte was more about how women were being pushed down in industry, dominated by men, and just the social divide that was still in place at that time in Italy. So I don't think that narrative part is going to translate over to this, but I guess we'll see. 12-episode story, decently popular considering. Yeah, all in all, this looks like it could be a solid isekai story. Interesting that it's a 20-year-old office worker. It's not like a high schooler or anything like that. It's just a 20-year-old office worker. A regular 20-year-old girl. That's kind of unique in a sense. Sense of a Bookworm, she was 18, right? Or was she 16? She was somewhere, I think she was late teens when she got reincarnated, right? Am I misremembering? I can't remember. But yeah, to just have a 20-year-old office worker, it's a nice change of pace as opposed to the 40-year-old guys and the teenagers that often end up in this situation. So she should be more responsible and should be a bit more worldly than a typical character. Although 20 is still pretty young, but I think she'll be a bit more worldly than she lets on. That's kind of my first impression of her, but I guess we'll see what that ends up being. Especially if her first thought is to make potions and cosmetics with magic. She sounds quite responsible as a character, but we'll see. Might be a bit of a time before we can get to that point. Synopsises usually should only encompass, in my opinion, the first episode, maybe the second. But maybe that's a more broader synopsis than it should be. Anyway, gonna load the episode up here. As per usual, here on the channel, we do timer-based format. If you want to see the full picture-in-picture, therefore the anime and myself on the same screen, you can go to my Patreon down in the description below. £4 a month gets you access to all picture-in-picture access I do on the channel, which is everything from winter 2021 and onwards. So you've got the entirety of last season on there, and you'll also have the entirety of this season. We've got backdated shows like Jujutsu Kaisen and Higurashi Go on there. We'll be doing Sotsu eventually, although I'm delaying Sotsu. I decided in the end I'll talk more about that on Discord when we get to actual Higurashi episodes, which will probably be next week at this rate. I don't think I can slot it in this week. We've also got Patreon request shows like World Trigger, which will be following after this. We've also got Local Horizon and Symphogear G starting up this week. Local Horizon, we're near the end of. Symphogear G, we're starting this week. But here on YouTube, we have to do timer-based, so bottom left of the screen, you'll see a time for the episode. I count down 3 to 1 play. Then play, you start the episode, I start the episode, and we'll be in sync. We are watching this one on Funimation, since they are the ones who licensed it. Obviously, since this is timer-based, you'll not see any of the audio or video of the original episodes. You need to go to Patreon for that, or have your own source material. We have the Kadokawa logo to start, and then the Funimation logo, so about 10 seconds of logos, give or take. I'll call them out as I go past, but you can also use screen flash on my face or the mic to tell when scene transitioning. Pay attention to this part of my headset as well, it's very reflective and should give away those scene transitions quite easily, especially the Funimation to anime one. That's usually quite a good one. So, anyway, with all that said and the timer reset, let's get into the first episode titled Summoning in 3, 2, 1, play. Kadokawa and Funimation. Cheers. Here we go. Reflection. Okay. This is like the mage doing the summoning ritual or something? Judging by the hair, I'm guessing they're part of the royal family then. I'm guessing this is what we're combating with our saint power. Very reptilian. Almost dragon-like. Okay. Interesting start. And now the real world. The late night shift. Or overtime. Could be both. Jesus, 11 o'clock, yeah. So how are we being isekai'd? Bit of a gamer as well, okay. Or... Oh. It just happens, okay. Okay. There's two of them. Sure. Just went straight for her, okay. Interesting. Tanya, okay. Okay. That's where we need the Saint's power. Mm-hmm. Sure. Hmm. Mm-hmm. We don't know. Probably can't. Just, yep, done with it. Okay. Prince Kyle, okay. But if she's a saint, likely. Okay. Place to stay in the palace, that makes sense. Hmm. After, does that say after 2 weeks? I think that said. God, tough to read actually. Yeah, it's a nice break, but that's cool. Okay, mate's helpful. Is leaving. Yeah, maybe she's staying in the garden. I don't know. A little ominous, but mm. Who's this? Who's this? Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, she does. Dude, okay. Hmm. Who's watching? Hmm. Okay. Well. Sure. Okay. Nice. Okay. We're moving out and finding our next purpose. Obviously. Hmm. Surprised no one made comment about her glasses yet, really. Unless glasses are something that do exist in this world, but. Hmm. Okay. Casually, with magic. Nope. Just happens. Is it in this world? I don't even know. Yes, we need to learn magic. Okay. I mean, she's a saint candidate, so she's gonna make like a high grade potion on her first time. That's a flag. It's a good question. It's gonna be something really powerful. Or I'm just not gonna say, okay. It's a big ass moon. Hmm. Hmm. Nice. Comes more red, yeah. Nobody can make them. Wow, okay. I mean, yeah. A few months later, that font is quite difficult in a short time. It feels like we're really going through it right now. Oh boy. Oh boy. That's the Saints' power. That's a good point, actually. Hey, now we actually have a use for them. Third order, okay. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Mm-hmm. She's not far off, actually. Bit too cutesy, though. Yep, a lot of people hurt. Very tame, though. Hmm. What's Prince Kyle up to? Because this is just getting more and more suspicious. Hmm. A prisoner. Oh, he's definitely the worst hit. Go on, give him your... Yep, go on. Very effective. Holy shit. Ah. Mm-hmm. Episode 1 summoning. Mm-hmm. More than likely, yes. Okay. Episode 2 companionship. Interesting. Interesting start. It felt like they kind of blew through a lot very, very quickly just to get to that point. I don't know if that was the same in like the source material or not, but to skip 3 months just to the point that she can make all the super powerful potions to save this guy seemed a little quick. Don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing though. It's like, no, I would attribute it to be overall not a beneficial thing to have to go through that much content so quickly. Because part of the journey of being able to make the powerful items and to be able to learn to do things, like that's part of the character journey, right? The trials and tribulations in order to get to the point where you can do that. Like, Bookworm, she didn't get to make paper whenever she wanted to. No, she had to go through many different options of paper, many of which failed. So I feel like that's more of a plus to Bookworm than it is to this, but I can forgive it for being a bit fast. We got to the point where we saved our character, and obviously added to the potential reverse harem. I can see where the reverse harem idea is definitely coming through. I don't know if it's ever going to be acted upon or even mentioned too much, but you can see where it's starting to build up, right? Okay, she's got the captain that she saved the life of. She's got the instructor, or the director, whatever. You got Jude, who's been teaching her all this stuff and spending time with for the last 3 months. So you can see where the reverse harem is building up, right? My curiosity now lies in what the hell are they doing with the other Saint? Because this Prince Kyle, something's up there. Something is very, very up that he just approaches this one without a shadow of a doubt and then leaves immediately, and then that's it. We hear nothing more for 3 months. We just hear of, oh, I heard the Saint has healing powers, but Prince Kyle says she's not to see a sight like this. And it's like, Or what's the point of the healing powers if she's never going to be able to see anyone worth healing? Like, these are the exact type of people that she needs to heal. Why wouldn't you take her to this, right? Like, there's something fishy about that. Kyle's probably using the Saint for his own gain, and in which case, I think Sei kind of lucked out a bit by not being the one that he approached, but I don't know what it means from then on. But yeah, it looks like the setting up shop thing is going to be something that happens next episode or episode after. Right now, she's just at the Institute learning how to do it, and we've got all these excess... Well, we did have a lot of excess potions. Now, I think we've used up a lot of them now. But we can make potions that are more effective. They said they can't sell them at the civilian marketplaces, so it kind of leaves an opportunity to sell a more... what's the word I'm looking for? What's that word where you have some more, like... It's almost like exclusive things. It's like where they're a higher quality and of a higher price point than what you can normally buy. Like, you can buy these somewhere else, but they're not going to be as good as the way you buy. I forget what it's... there's probably an actual word for that. I just can't think of it right in here in the moment. But she could offer a shop that does that sort of thing. And I think that's where it will go, based on the synopsis. But I think it looks like next episode is going to be where we finally get there. Because we've still got the problem of, yes, we've got 50% more effective potions, but we can't really use them anywhere. Except in an emergency like this. And I don't know how long they store as a stockpile. And you could probably make some more money out of it since she's the only one who can do it. As long as she can supply her own herbs and stuff, she should be fine. She could probably pay someone to supply her with herbs and stuff, I suppose. Yeah, it was a decent start. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily blown away. It was decent looking. Like I'll say this about Diomedia's, however you say their studio name. Their works are pretty good looking. Like, even stuff like Domestic Girlfriend and stuff, like, their works look decent. But they're not, like, blowing your mind's visuals or anything. They're good. And so far, this has been a very okay opening. I don't hate it at all. I really don't. I quite like it. But I don't know if it's going to be one of those shows that I think might be just a good show. And will probably end up overlooked by all the great shows that come out in the season. So, this feels like it could be like the Kamoji Hen or the Dr. Ramune of this season. The fact that it's like, yes, it's a very solid show in its own right, but it's completely overshadowed by everything around it. That's what it feels like it could end up being, but I guess we'll see. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed that one as per usual. Leave a like if you did, as well as your comments what you thought of the episode. Don't forget to subscribe as well to see next week's episode, because we're definitely continuing this one. I'm under no pressure to make Wednesday a smaller day. This is one of only 2 shows I have today, so it's not exactly that busy of a day. So yeah, we'll definitely do next episode. And don't forget to subscribe for other Spring 2021 shows you can find on the channel. My channel page has all the playlists of every show I'm watching and on what day they release. And my Discord also has the full schedule and what times they come out here on the channel as well. Thank you everyone for watching. Till next time. See you guys later.